Hey YouTube, what did we do tonight? We made an attempt at a Q&A. It's kind of a lame attempt, but we'll get better with time. Hey YouTube, it is super late. I really came close to just not doing any video at all, which there's been a few of those already, but I do want to get something out. This is a challenge for myself as much as anybody else, but to get a video a day. This is going to be a rough month. I'm going to tell you right now because I have a test coming up and for my contractor's license, and my head is in a whole bunch of different places, still trying to maintain, actual money-making work, trying to keep this thing and studying for a test and other things that are going on in the background, trying to be a good citizen. It's going to be rough, and quite honestly, the last couple of days have been very rough. Case in point, today I spent, I drove out to a job site that we've been working on, and I was there from 8 a.m. waiting for an inspector that showed up at 2:30. And it was one of those where we kind of had to. You're subject to their whims, and yeah. So anyway, that did not go well. The inspection was let's say it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, because yeah. Anyway, I won't go into that, but someone suggested that I do a bit of a Q&A type format. I don't know exactly what that entails. I haven't given it much thought. But I thought, I'll just grab my phone here. We'll pull up some questions that people have asked that I've answered in the comments, but maybe I'll just answer them here real quick. Just a few. I'm not going to sit here all night and do this, but yeah, I do appreciate the comments, and some of you have some very helpful suggestions. And when I can, I pass that on to the rest of the community. But in some cases, I'm sure a lot of you don't read all the comments. You're watching the video, and it's sort of like, you skim through and you skip. I know you're skimming through because YouTube tells me. So those of you that have been watching the video and thinking, oh, I get this, I just watched the whole video, I know that you're only watching up to so far and then leaving. So, yeah. Anyway, let's try this out. Let's see if we can find a question here. Yeah, Douglas says, what's the next step on the 4-wheel drive Ranchero? There's a laundry list of things that are next with a Ranchero. Most of it involves me rolling it out of the garage to work on it, and here lately I haven't been able to really do that because it's been so late, and the neighbors across the street are annoyingly loud, and they seem to be only active at night. So vampires maybe, I don't know what's going on, but it makes for some really difficult videography on my part when I have to dodge the neighbors. But probably the next step, legitimate step on it, is I'm probably going to finish sorting out the firewall where the steering column runs through, and I need to order some parts so that I can tie the steering column to the steering box. And we got to figure out the clutch pedal and the master cylinder on that. And then what we'll be doing is working on getting the floor, the firewall, the rest of the body supports and all that kind of thing straightened out. And then it's just a simple deal of lifting the body back off, extending the fuel lines, any of the electrical that went to the back, the brake line that goes to the rear, and getting the fuel tank put back in. And then we're going to see if we cannot get it to run. I want to get the computer hooked back up, get all the wiring and the electrical straightened out. It doesn't have to be perfect, so we're just mostly going to be stealing the bulk of the loom the wire loom out of the Mazda, stick it in the Ranchero, and if we can get it to start and run, that's kind of where we're headed. So anyway, that's where we're at on the Ranchero. Let's see, what else do we got here? Jason says, curious what happened to the panel van you used to drive. First of all, it's a panel truck. Don't get the two confused. Anyway, the 1960 F100 panel truck. I had a love-hate relationship with that vehicle. I loved that it was a classical truck. I loved, it was fun and in that regard, but it was miserable to work out of it. And I'd been working out at that place that handles a lot of sulfur, and it really just didn't seem like the responsible stewardship to drive that out to a corrosive environment and just shorten its life expectancy more than it already was. The other issue was it got 8 miles to the gallon, and the Fugly Truckling gets 16. So more comfortable to drive on the highway. The panel truck was squirrely. You get it up. It would do 90 without any issue. But it was scary. And I don't know, maybe I needed a Virgin Mary on my dashboard, but I sold it. So I don't regret selling it, but it was an odd relationship with that truck. Paul says, will the Ranchero be big enough to use as a replacement? It ticks all the boxes except maybe size. Yeah, the Ranchero, as far as a work truck, that's what he's asking, is if it would be big enough to replace the 3/4 ton 2500 HD, the Chevy. Yeah, I mean, it technically it would be big enough. I wasn't really planning on working out of it. I don't have a problem with working out of it. But actually, before this came along, before the epiphany hit me that I could put the Ranchero on the Mazda body, on the Mazda frame, I was actually getting the 51 Willys lined up, and I was planning it all out to put a service box, like a utility box, in the bed. And because of the way the Jeep's built, I already replaced I put boxes, like flip-top boxes, over the fenders, over the rear wheels, so it already had locking boxes there. And I was actually considering using it as a work truck. So, yeah, it's absolutely big enough. Would I be able to tow anything? No. Well, maybe I could. With the Ranchero, yeah. The Jeep, not so much. But, anyway. Let's see if we can find at least one more here. ATW, suggestion for weekly video. Open questions on ongoing projects. Here it is. We're responding to these on the deal. So, thank you. Green Jeep Adventures. He wanted to know about the noise on the Forge. He says, how loud would you compare it to? A vacuum cleaner, hair dryer, and it's loud. Yeah, it's kind of like a vacuum cleaner. What it is more than the noise level is just annoying. It's not I don't think it's the intensity. It's just that it just doesn't end. It's just that constant irritating white noise in the background. And honestly, after firing that up and sitting next to it for just a couple of minutes, I'm having serious doubts about whether I even want to use it. And that's one of the reasons why I've been a little bit reluctant to move forward with it. Honestly, if I could, I'm giving it serious consideration to going back to my double lung bellows. And I don't know about fuel. I'm considering building a more efficient kiln to make my charcoal with. I'm actually thinking of something that might be more or less automated, and maybe to produce that primary heat might even be propane or natural gas or I don't know, solar power, who knows, whatever. We'll have to, maybe I can get Elon Musk in on that project. Another one from Douglas here. He says, how about a video around the yard, house, outside, garage, yard, so we can put all the single view together? I get what you're saying here. The first thing I thought of when I read this was, well, maybe I should just publish a list of my fears. But then I got to thinking, I'm not really that phobic about things. Yeah, sometime I might do something along those lines. Give you a tour of the garage. It's, you know, it's not much to tour. It's only 1,000 square feet. As garages go, it's really big. As shops go, not so much. The house is a 2,700 square foot home. That does not include the garage. That does not include the basement. It sets on a double lot. It was built in 1948, 1949, somewhere in there. It's a big house in a neighborhood, and there's a lot of things I'd change about it, but I think what I'd rather do, honestly, I'd like to leave it. So, yeah. All right, so that's just a few questions that have already been posted. I've already answered them. I try to answer everybody's questions, but I just wanted to get out here, record something. I thought a few of those. I like the idea of doing a Q&A type deal, and yeah, maybe we can do this once a week. Maybe we can set it up for it to be posted every Friday. But I'm going to have your questions, and then I'll come back and review them that way. But those particular questions, they looked like they were maybe of interest to more than one person, and I know people don't go back and read all the comments and all the questions, and I know this because I have older videos where people ask the same questions or make the same comments over and over and over again. So I know there's a lot of people that don't actually go back through the comments. I don't blame them. I wouldn't either. That's the best I'm going to get away with on this video. Again, I'm going to go have a good sleep. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have comments, leave them down in the comment area. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe if you'd like. And maybe we'll try this again tomorrow and get a better result. So until next time, bye. Just look at this dump. Oh my God. Often I just look at this mess and think I need a dumpster.